Chapters 7 through 9 of Book 1 of Les Miserables, Volume 3 by Victor Hugo. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Les Miserables, Volume 3 by Victor Hugo. Translated by Isabel Florence Hapgood. Book 1st, Paris Studied in its Atom. Chapter 7. The gamin should have his place in the classifications of India. The body of street Arabs in Paris almost constitutes a caste. One might almost say, not everyone who wishes to belong to it can do so. This word gamin was printed for the first time and reached popular speech through the literary tongue in 1834. It is in a little work entitled Claude Gueux that this word made its first appearance. The horror was lively. The word passed into circulation. The elements which constitute the consideration of the gamin for each other are very various. We have known and associated with one who was greatly respected and vastly admired because he had seen a man fall from the top of the tower of Notre Dame. Another because he had succeeded in making his way into the rear courtyard where the statues of the dome of the Invalides had been temporarily deposited, and had prigged some lead from them. A third because he had seen a diligence tip over. Still another because he knew a soldier who came near putting out the eye of a citizen. This explains that famous exclamation of a Parisian gamin, a profound epiphonema which the vulgar herd laughs at without comprehending. Dieu de Dieu, what ill luck I do have! To think that I have never yet seen anybody tumble from a fifth-story window! I have pronounced I have, and fifth pronounced fift. Surely this saying of a peasant is a fine one. Father so-and-so, your wife has died of her malady. Why did you not send for the doctor? What would you have, sir? We poor folks die of ourselves. But if the peasant's whole passivity lies in this saying, the whole of the free-thinking anarchy of the brat of the faubourg is, assuredly, contained in this other saying. A man condemned to death is listening to his confessor in the tumbrel. The child of Paris exclaims, "He is talking to his black cap! Oh, the sneak!" A certain audacity on matters of religion sets off the gamin. To be strong-minded is an important item. To be present at executions constitutes a duty. He shows himself at the guillotine, and he laughs. He calls it by all sorts of pet names. The end of the soup, the growler, the mother in the blue, the sky, the last mouthful, etc., etc. In order not to lose anything of the affair, he scales the walls, he hoists himself to balconies, he ascends trees, he suspends himself to gratings, he clings fast to chimneys. The gamin is born a tiler as he is born a mariner. A roof inspires him with no more fear than a mast. There is no festival which comes up to an execution on the Place de Grève. Samson and the Abbé Mont are the truly popular names. They hoot at the victim in order to encourage him. They sometimes admire him. Lacenaire, when a gamin, on seeing the hideous Dautin die bravely, uttered these words which contain a future. I was jealous of him. In the brotherhood of gamins, Voltaire is not known, but Papavoine is. Politicians are confused with assassins in the same legend. They have a tradition as to everybody's last garment. It is known that Tolleron had a fireman's cap, Avril an otter cap, Losvel a round hat, that old Delaporte was bald and bareheaded, that Castaing was all ruddy and very handsome, that Bourri had a romantic small beard, that Jean Martin kept on his suspenders, that Lecouf and his mother quarrelled. Don't reproach each other for your basket, shouted a gamin to them. Another, in order to get a look at Debarcaire as he passed, and being too small in the crowd, caught sight of the lantern on the quay and climbed it. A gendarme stationed opposite frowned. "Let me climb up, monsieur le gendarme," said the gamin, and, to soften the heart of the authorities, he added, "I will not fall." "I don't care if you do," retorted the gendarme. In the brotherhood of gamins, a memorable accident counts for a great deal. One reaches the height of consideration if one chances to cut oneself very deeply, to the very bone. The fist is no mediocre element of respect. One of the things that the gamin is fondest of saying is, "I am fine and strong, come now." To be left-handed renders you very enviable. A squint is highly esteemed. Chapter 8, in which the reader will find a charming saying of the last king. In summer he metamorphoses himself into a frog, and in the evening, when night is falling, in front of the bridges of Austerlitz and Jena, from the tops of coal wagons and the washerwomen's boats, he hurls himself headlong into the Seine and into all possible infractions of the laws of modesty and of the police. Nevertheless, the police keep an eye on him, and the result is a highly dramatic situation which once gave rise to a fraternal and memorable cry. That cry, which was celebrated about 1830, is a strategic warning from gamin to gamin. It scans like a verse from Homer, with a notation as inexpressible as the Elysiac chant of the Panathenaea, and in it one encounters again the ancient Evo. Here it is. Ohé! Titi! Ohé! Here comes the bobby! Here comes the police! Pick up your duds and be off, through the sewer with you. Sometimes this gnat, that is what he calls himself, knows how to read. Sometimes he knows how to write. He always knows how to daub. He does not hesitate to acquire, by no one knows what mysterious mutual instruction, all the talents which can be of use to the public. From 1815 to 1830 he imitated the cry of the turkey. From 1830 to 1848 he scrawled pears on the walls. One summer evening, when Louis Philippe was returning home on foot, he saw a little fellow, no higher than his knee, perspiring and climbing up to draw a gigantic pear in charcoal on one of the pillars of the gate of Neuilly. The king, with that good nature which came to him from Henry IV, helped the gamin, finished the pear, and gave the child a louis, saying, "The pear is on that also." The gamin loves uproar. A certain state of violence pleases him. He execrates the cures. One day, in the Rue de l'Université, one of these scamps was putting his thumb to his nose at the carriage gate of number 69. "Why are you doing that at the gate?" a passer-by asked. The boy replied, "There is a cure there." It was there, in fact, that the papal nuncio lived. Nevertheless, whatever may be the Voltairianism of this small gamin, if the occasion to become a chorister presents itself, it is quite possible that he will accept, and in that case he serves the mass civilly. There are two things to which he plays Tantalus, and which he always desires without ever attaining them: to overthrow the government, and to get his trousers sewed up again. The gamin in his perfect state possesses all the policemen of Paris, and can always put the name to the face of any one which he chances to meet. He can tell them off on the tips of his fingers. He studies their habits, and he has special notes on each one of them. He reads the souls of the police like an open book. He will tell you fluently and without flinching, "Such an one is a traitor. Such another is very malicious. Such another is great. Such another is ridiculous." All these words, traitor, malicious, great, ridiculous, have a particular meaning in his mouth. That one imagines that he owns the Pont Neuf, and he prevents people from walking on the cornice outside the parapet. That other has a mania for pulling persons' ears, etc., etc. Chapter 9, The Old Soul of Gaul. There was something of that boy in Poquelin, the son of the fish market. Beaumarchais had something of it. Gaminerie is a shade of the Gallic spirit. Mingled with good sense, it sometimes adds force to the latter, as alcohol does to wine. Sometimes it is a defect. Homer repeats himself eternally, granted. One may say that Voltaire plays the gamin. Camille Desmoulins was a native of the Faubourg. Championnet, who treated miracles brutally, rose from the pavements of Paris. He had, when a small lad, inundated the porticos of Saint-Jean-de-Beauvais and of Saint-Étienne-du-Mont. He had addressed the shrine of Sainte Geneviève familiarly to give orders to the file of Saint Januarius. The gamin of Paris is respectful, ironical, and insolent. He has villainous teeth, because he is badly fed and his stomach suffers, and handsome eyes, because he has wit. If Jehovah himself were present, he would go hopping up the steps of Paris